Hey, I hope you're having a great day on purpose. Um, Today we're going to talk about love, right? Because it's the love month, right? Well, it'll probably be a really short podcast.
Supposed to say every month is the love
Every,
month.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
what I'm supposed to
That's
say.
true. Every month. But we celebrate Valentine's Day. And I mean, honestly, we've never been big on like going. Well, first of all, if he ever went out and spent $100 on roses for Valentine's Day, I would be really upset. But I've never been like one that I mean, I love flowers every here and there if you can get them for $8 to $10. Go to the go to your grocery store, it's fine. But I really just don't like I just think we get so caught up into the frou-frou stuff, right? And oh, he bought me this big thing of roses, he must really love me. But then when you go home and you get together and you ask him to do something or her to do something, it's like, you know, I'd rather buy you roses. But thankfully, honestly, my husband's never really been that type of when I ask him to do something, he's pretty good about doing it. And he pumps my gas for me and so he takes the trash out.
True love.
All the things that measure love.
Yeah.
But it's cold month, so a lot of times this people want like s'mores and stuff like that. Well, it's too cold for me to do that. And I know you're not a big s'mores person, but I mean, every once in a while, I like it okay. I'd rather just have just the marshmallow, really. But anyhow, this month I decided to do stuff that we might all have sitting around the house, just throwing stuff together, not really a lot of cooking. And so I went with s'mores. And so we're going to have to check it quite often. I'm going to rely I'm I'm a little scared. I'm relying on my husband to check the food. And as we've said before in the last podcast, this man does not cook. He does not cook.
Campfire being the key word here as I check it in the oven. And I feel like I need to do my Oliver Twist impersonation too. May I have some s'mores, please?
S'mores. But anyhow, I got these handy dandy big marshmallow squares, and then I just put them on a graham cracker, right? I know a lot of people will put the top of the graham cracker, and I guess we might do that, but it'll probably smooth out, right? I don't know that I want to do that. I don't like stuff that smoozes. But anyhow,
People with beards should not eat food that smoozes, as
no.
you put it.
So, but anyhow, we're gonna try it, but we will have to check it. Like I've got one recipe that says check it in 2 minutes, and I've got one recipe that checks it in 4 minutes, and then one recipe says put it on broil instead of bake if you want it charred. But I don't want to eat charcoal. I don't like charred. I like it nice and toasty and melty
They do have a
inside.
briquette look to them.
Yeah, they do. But it's you're supposed to put your oven according to the one that I agreed with the most on 450. 450. Not that that matters to you. But listen, one person did say that they turned it on and forgot to press start, so it looked like it was on. We won't mention any names, Jacqueline. But we're going to talk about love. So before we put this in, we're going to talk about love this month. Do you love me?
Love you, mean it.
Anyhow, um, in the book of First John 4:19, we love him because he loved us. And then one of the scriptures that I have supporting before we get into conversations, Jeremiah 31:3, and it says, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn thee. And if we look at everlasting love, that's not conditional. That's not a condition of love. We we don't we don't act well. Let me see. How would I've got it written down here. Um, and it really kind of spoke to me. Love is the origin, not the reward. Would you agree with that?
God is definitely love, and He is the beginning of all things. So
And then it says he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him, right? So the reward is from the seeking, not from the love in my thinking of the origination. So when I read that line, it really kind of got me thinking about the reward, like my reward for you loving me isn't that you love me. It's that I get to spend time with somebody I love. Right?
Or is the roses and the taking out the trash and
Yeah, that's the reward. And maybe the shopping trip every once in a while. A little plastic. But God is the pursuer, not the evaluator. And so, and I don't really want to talk about the Adam thing too much because I want to do that in one of the next podcasts. But we do realize that when Adam sinned, God went to Adam still in the cool of the evening and still pursued that time with him. His sin did not keep him to stay away from Adam. It actually drew him towards him still. I just think that it's really cool that we have a lot of people who don't go to church because, oh, the roof might fall in, or I don't go to church. I'm not I'm not walking right. I'm not doing right. I do this or I do that. Well, if that was the prerequisite, some preachers wouldn't be on the platform. And I'm not saying that in a mean way, but we all sinned and come short of the glory of God. And just because you stand in a platform, yeah, I do believe that we ought to uphold that and have a better handle on our lifestyle, I guess is the way I would say it. And we should live a godly life. But does it mean we're perfect? No. And so the concept of staying out of church because you're not walking right, to me, it's like saying, do you bring your car to the garage to get fixed? Obviously, you bring it to the right place. Where are you going to get fixed? And I'm not saying four walls. Four walls don't make the church, right? I'm saying the relationship, pursuing the relationship. If you got to go to four walls and to do it because you don't have somewhere to go or somebody to go talk to, or you don't know somebody, you hear stories all the time that people just walk into a church and either they're very received at the church or they're very rejected because of how they look or how they dress or whatever. You don't clean a fish before you catch it, right? With the adage that they say. But I really just think that if we understand the concept of love, then we actually really get the concept of who God is. God is love.
I agree, and I think that it reinforced to me is even when they created Adam to begin with, almost instantly, the very next phrase he used was "not good for man to dwell alone." So if Adam was made in the image of God, then it kind of tells me about God a little bit. That his desire was not to be alone. That's why he created mankind. That's why he created us, not angels that have to serve him and have to do whatever he has, but he wanted a people that had a free will, that had an opportunity to choose. And obviously, the best choice is, and then that's true of any love affair, any marriage, any relationship, is both people have to choose. One person, we've seen relationships where one is head over heels in love, well, the other one isn't. Well, relationship's not going to work very well because it has to be reciprocal. It has to be balanced. It has to be, everyone loving each other in order for it to be long term. It's not a matter that we agree with everything. That's not the case. We've been married for over 40 years. We don't agree on everything, but
yes, we do.
We decide to get through our differences. And of course, with God, it's us that has to do the changing. Obviously, God's perfect in every way, but when we use the term perfect, is you don't make any mistakes, nothing ever changes. You're perfect in every way. Is not intended to mean that you don't make mistakes. It's intended that you mature from where you were yesterday to being more mature today, and it's that through that process that we get to know God in a closer way, in a more complete way.
Well, one of the lines I've written here is God didn't wait for us to be lovable. His love is what makes us lovable. And there's times that once in a while, I get up in the morning, this morning, and probably wasn't that lovable, right? It's sleeting out there and it's ice and like drive it, and I don't like being in it. And so I was just kind of grouchy this morning, and I know that. But you love me, right?
Love you. Mean it.
Anyhow, God's love is not God's response to us is not just his response. Love is not just his response to us, I guess is the way to say it. It's God's nature to respond in love to us. And so we better put these in. Not that. Just that.
Keep talking.
He's cooking.
How long?
We're going to check it in 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
But when we realize that, you know, even the worst people that we could think of in the world, somebody loves them. I mean, I just think of it like, you know, if you think of, and I don't even want to name like notorious killers or robbers or whatever, but I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who do a lot of bad things. And some of the worst things we could think of and imagine. And even if we, which obviously we don't take God out of the equation, but if we didn't use God as the one person in the world that loves them, somebody loves that person. Some women are married to some of the worst people, and some men are married to some of the worst women, and some children have some of the worst fathers, and some fathers have some of the worst children, and mothers have some, but they love them in spite of who they are in themselves. But it's kind of cool to know that even when I'm probably at my worst, you still love me. And if you do, how much more does God love me? Because he doesn't just see me at my worst. He knows every thought I have. Every time I think something that's contrary to what he wants me to think or what is his provision for me in my thoughts. And I'm still lovable. I know I've told this story before, but you know, we had a minister outside the church, and we lived in a rough neighborhood, and these two people were like, I mean, literally at each other's, and it was a very, very bad neighborhood, and we didn't know, you know, who's got guns, who's got knives, who, you know, whatever. And so this man just walked straight up and right in between them, and they were like hot and heavy going at it, fussing, and he just raised his hands up and started singing the song Love Lifted Me when nothing else could help. Love lifted me. And I remember that as a kid, that those people just really didn't know what to do or what to say. They quit arguing and walked away. And quite honestly, it was so rough that he might have saved one of their lives that night, you know, in the act itself, you know.
2 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if it's been 2 minutes. I would leave it another minute.
According to that timer, it is.
Okay. Take your chances. Go ahead. But if we know that the Bible is truly, yeah, that's not ready, is truly our greatest love story.
Oh, no doubt.
Greatest love story. If we could, you know, well, first of all, love thy neighbor as thyself, right? And the Lord thy God with all the heart. And on those two hang all the laws. And we're not really governed now by the laws, if you will. I mean, we are, because they're part of who we are, but they're governed, the laws are governed by the love of that God has for us, that we can give to somebody else, and the love we have for him, the love of the Lord your God with all of your heart. And if he wants us to love with all of our heart, we have to know he loves with all of his. And even when we're in a situation where we don't feel lovable, sometimes people don't feel lovable. It's not really that they maybe, I don't want to say that they're in a position that it's, well, I do want to say that they're in a position that it's hard to even accept love because they feel not lovable, you know?
Well, and there's been so much focus on the people, you know, throughout the Old Testament into religion today. But what we have to realize is that God focuses on the sin. That's what he hates. That's what he does, you know, abhors, abominations. All those terms are not to people. therefore acts because he knows the consequences that sin creates in our lives. And by missing the mark all the way through from the foundation of the world, and certainly through the fall of mankind, he pointed out the consequences to Adam and Eve of their mistake and of their fallen nature. It wasn't so much a curse that he put on them. It was a curse that came because of the act that they did, the consequences of, and we hear that a lot in the grace circles. A teenage girl can get pregnant and come and repent, but it doesn't make her any less pregnant. Well, that's true. The consequences is she's pregnant, but the consequences of the child can change because of the condition of the heart of the person, and that's what we need to focus on.
Well, and I think people think that, God's love for them because of where they're at is in the future. But that's not true. God's love is in the now, right? He loves us now. He loves us from the beginning. He loves us. Ooh, they're starting to look that good. We'll leave them about one more minute, 2 more minutes.
Yeah.
So I guess we could went with the second one I read and leave them for 4 minutes instead of 2. But his love is in the now. Like, he may see the future of you, but he loves us in our now, no matter what our now looks like. Even in the Bible, it says, while we were yet in our sins and trespasses, Christ died for us. So you don't have to be perfect for God to love you. I mean, if it is, we might have only one person in the world that's lovable.
And he also said, even when you were dead in those sin and trespasses, he raised us up into made us to sit in heavenly places. So it's about the same way. I always use that analogy of sitting your child down and making them sit still and like a timeout kind of thing. Well, it's almost the same thing that God does. He raises you up into heavenly places until you can learn to act heavenly and learn to behave the way He's created us to behave. So it's a process.
Well, and we don't earn it. Like, there's nothing you can do to earn the love of God. It's already given to you, right? We awaken to it, or we thrive in it, or we can embrace it and understand that his love is unconditional. And what part of unconditional don't we understand in some of these cases? Because there's a lot of people that I may feel in my own self that I don't really want to. I can love somebody and not like them. I can love them and be like, yep, love them from afar. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to have a boundary and not be walked on because you love somebody, And so, really, honestly, I just feel like with it being the month of February, everybody's concentrating on love. But honestly, the love of God is for all the time, every time, no matter where you are, no matter who you are. And I know that sounds hard. It's really hard to love somebody who is trespassed against us, right? But it's necessary. And it's godly.
So we're going to try to check these again.
Yeah, let's check them one more time.
Like love taking a long time to progress, s'mores apparently are the same way.
Yeah, we can check it. And then go ahead and bring them out no matter what they look like. We had them in for how long?
7 minutes.
Oh, they look nice and toasty.
About 7 minutes, apparently.
And so they said just take and drop a Hershey's Kiss in there. Hershey's Kiss. They actually do look very yummy. And then my husband, because I love him so much, he likes Reese's peanut butter cups, which he's not going to eat at the little.
I'm going to eat the peanut butter cup.
But I
Get a spoon.
Ooh, look at that one. And that's the messiest one. Do you love me?
Yeah, I've been in my beard for a week trying to get marshmallow out of it.
And I brought 6 of these and decided to use a Reese's. So we have to decide which one gets the Reese's.
It's the chocolate.
Yeah, I mean the little Kiss. Here, this looks like a good spot. And there you have it, folks. Ooh, that feels nice and soft and fluffy. Anyways, hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoy Valentine's Day. This is why he doesn't like it. It's messy. Hope you have a great day on purpose.